Happy day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Better Catholics. I'm Father Melvin.
I'm Bishop Ryan.
And we have a very special guest today. Once again, we are honored to have a priest from the Order of the Augustinian Recollects, also known as the OAR, here in Saipan. You probably have heard of Father Albert, Father Neil, Father Jefferson, and Father Nelson. Yes, Father Nelson. And we are blessed to have today as our guest and a visiting religious also and missionary here in the island, Father Bernard Amparado, OAR. He is the Prior Provincial of the province of St. Ezekiel Moreno. Welcome, Father Bernard.
Thank you very much, Melvin, and thank you very much, Bishop Ryan.
And yes, so you came to here to visit and also to see the place, and of course, you're invited by Bishop, and you also wanted to see your brothers in Rota, in the island of beautiful island of Rota.
Yeah, I was very excited because I've heard of this place long before. And in fact, even before I was elected as Prior Provincial, I was working in the seminary for the longest time. And I thought I wanted a change. I was dreaming of working in a parish or in a mission. And actually, this was one of the places I had dreamt of at least spending some time. Because anyway, I had the US visa. I thought with the US visa, I can work for some time, at least for a short break.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But now you come back as the head of the as the Prior Provincial of the St. Ezekiel Moreno, and we are truly blessed to have you, Father Bernard. I recall way back, I believe that was 2015 when we had the discussion, the discernment, and then when I was about to be ordained bishop in 2016, that's also the first community of Augustinian Recollects who came to the Diocese of Chala and Canoa, the former Prior Provincial, Father Johnny Selma. We thank him also for facilitating, all this, the process of considering our diocese as a mission area of the Augustinian Recollects. And so, thank you. So part of the visit was for him to see whether this is a good place for his brother priest to be here, and with the mission that they have in proclaiming the gospel.
Actually, the pleasure is ours.
So how do you find the island so far?
Well, it's a provincial, in a way, but very much American.
Yes.
I observed that there is a kind of system, there is a kind of order and discipline among the people. And I'm so glad that the brothers we have there are just so happy, despite that they are only two there, but they are well accepted, they are much loved by the people, and they have all the cooperation they need to run a parish.
Yeah, I know that there are only two of them, and by rule, I think they are supposed to be three in the community too.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
That's something that we discuss in Rota, but which we will share in the near future. So
yes.
Okay. So we're looking forward to to meeting another person. Hopefully, in the near future.
We will pray.
Yes. Let's pray. Let's pray to that. And you mentioned that you were a seminary formator for the longest time.
Yes.
How long in the seminary were you?
All in all, it must be around 22 years.
Wow.
The seminary. Actually, I am 35 years in the priesthood, and 9 of which I spent in school as one of the administrators, and then 2 years studying in Rome. And the rest of that, I was between the philosophy house and the theology house. But more of those years were actually in Baguio, the House of Philosophy. Yes.
Okay.
Just like Father Melvin, he was also in formation before
Yes.
you were sent to Saipan. So
Yes.
both of you can talk and I'll just relax here.
No, but that's a different story. That's
All right.
being in the seminary. But today, I think it's appropriate to ask Father Bernard about the mission. In particular, what is the mission of the Order of the Augustinian Recollects, or here, particularly in the province of Saint Ezekiel Moreno?
Okay. Actually, we go where the church sends us. If we go back to our very history, when we were born in 1588, the idea really of our predecessors, our pioneering fathers of the Recollects, they simply wanted to live a very monastic life. But when the church called them to go to the missions without any hesitation, that was in the year, I think it started in 1603. And they came to the Philippines. They went to the Philippines in 1606. And actually, that is simply following the steps of our father, St. Augustine. St. Augustine, right after his conversion, he went back. He wanted to go back to Africa and there spend a life in community. But when the church in Africa needed some priest, to manage and work in the parishes, so he gave into the request of the church. So just like our father Saint Augustine, then we follow suit, the Recollects. So the real intention really is to go back to a more austere, monastic, prayerful life. But when the church calls us,
that's right.
Yeah, we give in to the call of the church.
Right. Where the need of the church is.
Yes.
You go pretty much.
Yes.
So like in here, it's primarily parish ministry, but I know in the Philippines, you also have big universities and schools. So that was when it was founded, I believe, that was the need. And to this day, education is also a very important hallmark of your mission.
Actually, right after Second World War in 1940s, we thought our mission in the parishes was over. It was complete. There were enough number of diocesan priests. So it was about time that we think of another venues, to do apostolate, to do mission. It's still missionary after all, because it is doing evangelization in the school atmosphere, right in the campuses. So it's still missionary. We think of ourselves as missionaries, despite changing, the landscape of our apostolate.
But of course, you still go where the need is.
Yes.
If you're called to serve in the parish, you still go.
Yes. Actually,
that's very missionary.
Yes.
And that's right, goes into the heart of your charism as missionaries, really.
And Father Bernard is just newly elected Prior Provincial, and you've come from a rich tradition. Even in our diocese, way back, the Augustinian Recollects were already in the island of Rota. If we look at the canonical books, the presence of the Augustinian Recollects were already in this island.
Is that so?
So it's good to have that connection, that link. And so. I'm curious to ask, only a few months old in your role as the servant leader, as a Prior Provincial, what would be your vision, your expectations as you carry out this very important yet challenging task?
Actually, unlike the politicians, where they promise a lot, to achieve something for their constituents, but for me, as a whole, the religious, the mandate that we have to perform is not something personal. It's always something of the order. So my duty now is to go back, review the mandate produced by our 8th provincial chapter, And everything that I have to do there, all I have to do is just to go back, read, and implement.
Right.
Mhm.
So I have nothing of my own actually.
Yes. Plus, we are guided. We are guided as religious. We are guided by the rules and constitutions,
Yes.
and pretty much everything is there. You know,
Yes.
and sometimes the moment that the person or the prior or the superior brings himself instead of the constitutions and the rule, that's where the struggle comes in.
Yes.
That's where the problem comes in.
That's
into
true, Father Melvin.
Yeah.
But also you can't separate the person from the office,
Right.
because
Yes.
I think who you are, the uniqueness of you as a leader, as a person comes in, blends in. So
That's
I think
true.
if discerned well, the creativity also comes in. No,
Yes,
not
correct.
that you would emphasize one priority over the other.
Yes.
But I think in leadership, it's important to be who you are.
Yes.
I mean, I say that
Yes.
because that's how I also reflect in my role as a leader. Like, I don't want to be compared to like my predecessor. I
Right.
need to be who I am. I want to continue the good things he has done, being faithful to the tradition, to the cultural practices of the people, the teachings of the church. But I think it's important for me to remind myself to be Ryan so that I don't have to pretend who I am not.
Yes.
I don't know if that makes a point, because I think,
does.
in any leadership position, sometimes the challenge is, I'm not this or that
Yes.
bishop or prior general or
Right,
prior provincial and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We bring our personality to it,
Yes.
you know?
Yes. Actually.
You cannot help that, but bring it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's just a life of a missionary is very challenging, and we know that. Like you said, you go wherever you are called to go, wherever the need is. And have you experienced so far? What is your most challenging experience as a missionary, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I've not really been to difficult places yet, no, having spent most of my priestly life in the seminary and in school. Well, maybe most challenging for me, maybe the times or the years when I was working in school, because it so happened that they put me at the helm, and it was the year. No, actually, the school is very they are inimical, to the administration, because there was a kind of union.
Mm.
So much as we would want to run the place well, but they have so many demands, that even it's beyond the capacity itself of the school to give. So, well, more or less, it was perhaps the most challenging years of my life, being there
Yes.
as a school president or university president, because it just coincided, that it was the year when we had the collective bargaining agreement, and I was a young administrator then. So, but anyway, with God's help and His guidance, I went over. I've been through with it.
Yes.
I would be curious also to hear from both of you, actually, since you've been in the Ministry of Formation and being exposed to the parish of Father Melvin and Father Bernard, and taking the lead, like, with Father Nelson, Father Jay, having experienced a few days in Rota. What would be the kind of formation that we need to pay attention now in the seminary for our candidates to the priesthood, so that we are truly forming priests who respond to the needs, the signs of the
Yes.
times, and especially with the challenges in our world today?
Right now in the seminary, we always envision our seminarians as future missionaries, because we see our order as a missionary order. So it's basic in our formation, to have some aspects, of missionary training, and that's why even in our seminary, even if outside, they have already canceled or they have already deleted, Spanish language, but we continue to teach Spanish, because we have priests. We send priests, for example, in Brazil, in Panama. So being exposed to one foreign language, it would be easy for them to adjust. It would give them that kind of mindset,
Right.
to learn a different language. And we expose them also, young as they are, to apostolates. In college already, we are sending them to teach catechism on weekends, on Sundays, in our neighboring communities. So the seminarians go there to teach catechism, not only to teach them how to sing, the people. So they
Right,
gather
right.
the children, teach them prayers, basic prayers, etc., and some kind of formation. And also, we teach them the manual work. It's part of our training. The so-called manualia and laborando, to really let their hands work.
Right,
Not
right.
only their eyes and reading and
Yes,
studying,
yes.
but let them work. Hold some tools.
Yes.
So that they can be used to working already.
Right.
No wonder Father Nelson is really hands-on, as you witnessed in Rota, the fiesta, making sure that the food is okay. It's not, it's the overall needs of the parish, not just the
Yeah.
spiritual, but the well-being of everyone, from the smallest detail. And I think that's important.
Mm-mm.
It's a holistic approach. It's not just, you're not just, living in theory and, studying the books, but really there is the concrete and then
Right.
practical things.
And also, every time a missionary goes home to the Philippines to spend vacation, we see to it that these missionaries come to the seminary to share their experiences.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we have been successful so far because I guess many seminarians, have that vision already. We have maintained, that vision in them to become one day as missionary.
Right.
So, what are the mission areas under your care as the Prior Provincial?
We have missions in Sierra Leone. We have two mission stations there.
That's part of the Saint Ezekiel Moreno.
Yes,
Okay.
of Africa. Actually, this mission we have in Sierra Leone, was part of the package given to us by our former Father General for us to become a province. We used to be attached to a Spanish province, the San Nicolas province of Spain. But when we haggled, for us to become an independent province, so part of that concession was for us to have a missionary place in Africa. So that was part of the package. So we have two stations there. We have around 6 missionaries working in Sierra Leone, Africa. It was, in fact, it was during the time when they had this civil war.
So you have Africa, and then
Africa.
you have the Philippines, of course,
Yes, the Philippines.
Us here?
and
Yes,
Saipan.
Saipan.
Yeah.
Well, Taiwan, we are still there, but pretty soon we'll be closing that. We are in Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the bishop is inviting us to establish one more community, and maybe we will be helping the bishop in his educational apostolate. And we are helping other provinces. We are actually in collaboration. We are in Cuba. We have Filipinos working there. There used to be also in the Amazons, Brazil. Only because of the pandemic, that one missionary was unable to go back. But the door actually is still open. We can go there anytime. And in Panama, there were missionaries there who worked with the province of San Jose.
So You're pretty much an international, really. Even as a province,
Yes.
you are representing different places, different parts of the world. Is in our seminary right now, in our formation, the trend is we are bringing all the seminarians together while they are in their novitiate formation. We put them in one place so they know each other. Is there
Yeah.
also a
Yes, Father
program or-
Melvin. There was a year when it was the move of our order, to really bring in together all the formants, in just
Right.
one place, for them to know each other even earlier on. However, the situation here in the Philippines or there in the Philippines is difficult, because while we send our seminarians, we are the ones spending, so
Mhm.
we have to convert our peso to dollars,
That's right.
and it's so difficult not to support
Yeah.
students studying abroad.
Mhm.
Usually at this time of formation, there are still more. Unlike perhaps when they are sent to Rome, when it's reduced to just around 2. But to be sending more than 10, for example, in that stage of formation, that is too much.
Yeah.
And the risk also is so much, because we cannot be assured, if all of them would really be, would persevere. And I guess there was also a time when the CBCP, really made measures to control the sending of Filipinos, for formation abroad, because there were some abuses. Filipinos sent for formation, but actually they don't persevere. They go out and they are just lost. So the I guess the CBCP, made that rule, that you cannot send unless these seminarians have made their at least simple profession.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is it. But anyway, we have made some, let's say, concession or kind of a compromise, at least to fulfill that desire of gathering together. When they are to prepare for their solemn profession, and that is after their theology studies, all these seminarians or professed or preparing for profession, they are gathered in Spain. So seminarians of the same level, preparing for solemn profession, either whether they come from Latin America, from Spain, or from the Philippines, they gather for a month,
Right.
in order to have that common preparation towards solemn profession. But of course, for us Filipinos, for them to really maximize, their 1 month stay there, so that they will be able to understand, at least have a grasp of the language, they go there a month earlier. They go there a month earlier. So they see their counterparts. They are able
Right.
to see their counterparts in Spain. Actually, usually for the past how many years, that common gathering was held in Spain.
How many seminaries do you have right now studying for the province?
God has blessed us, for example, with an abundance of vocation. At least for our philosophy, it has not gone down below 60. Right now in Baguio, studying for the college level, we have 62.
Wow.
But this is for this time of pandemic, when it's really difficult not to
Right.
to recruit. There were years, when we had more. There were, in fact, before, there used to be more than 100. And then, at an average, we have around 80. But this time of pandemic, we just have 60, around 60. But there in the theology, there is nowadays, I guess there are just around 12 or 15. But thank God by December, we will be ordaining another 4.
Wow. Wow, that's a
That's,
blessing.
There goes your answer about the third member.
Yes. Yeah, the third member fresh from the oven, as they say. Yes. So that's a lot of vocations coming from one province alone.
Yes,
And we're praying that you will
we
be
thank
able to
God,
sustain that,
we
trend.
thank God for that. It's
Yeah.
a blessing, actually.
Yeah. A
It's-
blessing to your community is a
Yes.
blessing to the church in
Yes,
general.
yes.
Indeed.
Hopefully a
We
blessing to the
are
CNMI
willing
also.
to share that, even to
Yes.
Saipan.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I love to hear that. Thank you.
So, well, like you said, it needs funding. It's really tough to form seminarians and do missions without the help of
Mm-mm.
people. Maybe this is an opportune time for you, if you want to do a little shout out to our viewers, our listeners, to
Yes.
ask for help or.
Actually, most of the help for the maintenance of our seminary, is coming from our own order.
Okay.
The seminaries are subsidized, at least in the basic needs, food, and then their what do you call this? Their studies.
Mm.
But they also, especially in Baguio, where we have our college seminarians, these seminaries give their kind of counterpart. Maybe their counterpart would amount to just a third of the real expenses, for each seminarian, and that is where these seminarians need a lot of help. So that's why we call the attention of generous hearts out there, when we
Yeah.
where they can extend some help to our seminarians. Actually, we are receiving some help from Saipan. Father Albert made some connections before while he was here, and it so happened that I was then the rector there. So Father Albert connected us with some locals here, and every now and then they send us some money for these seminarians, because many seminarians actually do not or cannot really afford even with their own share of the expenses. So
That's good. And so we have the presence of the Augustinian Recollects here with Father Nelson and Father Jefferson in Rota. So for anyone who listeners out there willing to help,
Right,
just
right.
contact any one of them. That would be channeled through our Prior Provincial. And
Right.
I like the fact that formation, there's a responsibility of the seminarian. It's not just like, because I think it also gives a sense of accountability.
yes,
And that's when there are those who are really financially not able to even give that 1/3, and these are the candidates for the priesthood who really need help, because in the end, the help that we give would really benefit the universal church where they are
Right.
sent on a mission.
Yeah. Wow. So, thank you very much, Father Bernard, for sharing your time, for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and your zeal for the mission. Also, we pray, of course, for your ministry. We pray for your well-being as you
Thank you very
still
much.
have a long way in,
Yes.
in your ministry as the Prior Provincial. I know
Yes.
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be challenging.
Yes.
But with God's grace, everything will work out fine for you and for
Yes.
the entire province of Saint Ezekiel Moreno.
Thank you
We'll
very
keep
much.
you in our prayers. Yes,
Thank
and
you very
please
much.
keep us in yours as well.
Yes, very much.
We do
Yes.
need your prayers, too, Father
Yes,
Bernard.
we'll
Thank
pray
you.
for each other.
And
Yes.
don't worry, we'll make sure that Father Nelson and Father Jefferson will treat them nicely.
Yes, I saw that
they're-
already.
Yeah, they're very good. They're good
Yes.
people. Yeah, we would
Yeah.
like to hang out with them, but they are,
Mm-mm.
one airplane ride away. Yeah. So, but yeah, we take time to see them also,
Yes.
and they take time to visit us here in Saipan. So we see
Yes.
each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
any final words, Father Bernard, for our viewers and our listeners?
Okay, I thank the bishop, for this opportunity, as well as Father Melvin, and the Augustinian Recollects, the Order of Augustinian Recollects, are present here, in the Diocese of Saipan, and we are just too willing to work with this diocese, and anything that you need, anything that we can extend, for as long as we have the capacity, we will try our best, to really hand it over to you also.
Yes. Thank you once again, Father Bernard, for your missionary zeal. Your missionary zeal is actually transforming a lot of hearts, a lot of people, the faith of the people. You are helping them. Father Nelson and Father Jefferson, they are helping the people of the CNMI and those who are outside as well, listening and watching us to become better Catholics.
Thank you.